Hello, I'm Richard with EV4U Custom Conversions, and in today's episode we're going to continue our work on the Orange Beetle Project. And if you're not familiar with the project, check out our previous videos and you'll see that this one's a little different than what we normally do. So in our last episode we completed the work that we could do until we kind of were waiting on the fabrication shop to complete our battery boxes. So we've received the battery boxes, they're installed, and we'll bring you up to speed. So we'll take a look at an example of what I'm talking about here. This is a metal box that has an ABS liner in it. If I can keep from hurting myself getting in the car here. So ABS lined, and this will have 20 cells in the back and 15 in the front. We'll probably use, there's already a lot of holes in this thing, so we'll probably use an existing hole and just punch it out larger, put a gland nut in there, and run our cabling from there. So like I said, it's a metal box. It's bolted to the floor as well as to the firewall, and then it's strapped on the other side, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. These boxes are cut on a laser, and then they have a flange and a return, and they're quite strong. So let's take a look at the strap I'm talking about. So what I mean by a strap is that we either use a piece of flat stock, or in this case we're using some angle, and so it bolts from the mounting on the box through the firewall or the floor, and then has a strap on the other side instead of just a washer. This makes it a lot stronger and would have, it spaces out that contact area and would have to remove a lot of material for that battery box to go anywhere. And so we do that so that, if you're in an accident or something, that battery box stays put. If you roll the car, that battery box will stay put. So nothing new in the rear, but we have the battery boxes installed. We're installing the cells, and once the cells are installed, but before we install all the cells, we install them so that they're next to where the cables will come out, and then so next we'll run the cables. So with the cells in place, we know exactly the length, to cut the cables, and so that's what we're working on now, is running the cables and then finish installing the cells. Once the cells are all installed, then we start connecting the interconnects. So battery box installed, cells installed in the battery box, and now I've got to put the lugs on the end of the cables. And I like to do everything at the bench that I can, but you can't do everything at the bench. In other words, I put the lug on one end of the cable, but by the time you fish it through, gland nuts and so forth, you can't do that with the lug on the end. So what we have here is a situation where we have to put the lug on after the cable's been run, cut the length, that kind of thing. So while I'm doing that kind of thing, I'm going to cover the battery box. because you can see there's a lot of exposed terminals. There's a lot of opportunity for something unexpected or unfavorable to happen. So with the battery box with its ABS cover on, this cover was made for the box, and it fits between that and our metal lid, which will be bolted on. And this now gives me good protection so that while I'm working here with, you know, metal lugs, crimping tool, and you know, the cable stripper, all these things that could possibly cause a short, I don't have to worry about it. And so that's what I recommend. Always be conscious of the fact that, you know, when we're not working around it, we keep it covered, and when we are working around it, we keep it covered, except for when we're doing, you know, the interconnects. And then I actually cover the parts that I'm not going to be working on, just to be, you know, on the safe side. Safety first. So I like to connect my cable ends first, and then I'll do the interconnects. And I always leave one out in the pack until I'm, you know, completed all the others before I add the last interconnect. That way this pack isn't, you know, this box is not live at any time during the, you know, the build. And so you'll see that I also use heat shrink, in this case black on this side. This is my most negative point. And on the other side here we have, camera will focus, we have red. And so I you know, identify my cable ends using heat shrink that is the appropriate color. So we'll trace, you know, the current path a little bit later, but just showing you we're connecting up the battery boxes, and I got to go do the front one, but that's what we're doing at this point. So here's the little component tray that we have underneath the back seat on the driver's side, and you can see if we had used that box, it would have been a little crazy. It's still a little crazy. It's a lot of components in a small area. But anyway, the cover will be installed, one of the last things, so it doesn't have the cover on, but everything is connected and wired, and so that's ready to go. So like I think I mentioned, we have the interconnects left to do, so we'll connect the interconnects. Once those are done, we'll do a final check of our wiring, and before we put the last interconnect in. And once everything's been checked, install that last interconnect, and then we will charge the pack. We'll start charging the pack. And so right now all of our cells are sitting at 2.75 volts, and we'll charge that pack to 3.5 times the number of cells. So anyway, that's the status. Well, let's take one last look at the Orange Beetle as we're finished. We've done our job. So we'll just do a little walk around, take a look at the vehicle as it's ready to roll. I might clean it, but it's running, it's operable. There's still some attention needed to certain things that of course will be up to the owner to conclude. Like, I'm sure he's not finished with the dash. There's no carpet in it, that kind of thing. So there's lots of things that someone's got to do. But let's go around to the other door real quick. let you see the inside here. Of course, the back seat's not in place. We don't have the back seat, so, but that's our little component tray with its cover on. And behind the back seat is the battery box. I don't know if I see it through the window or not because of glare. There's too much glare. Now there, kind of see it. Well, anyway, that's the dash. Battery box. Let's take a look under the bonnet here. That's the front end. So we'll turn on the key, let you hear it spin up. Oh, didn't show you the engine bay yet. Sorry about that. Let's take a look in here. So again, we didn't wire up the pump and the fans, and like I said, we didn't loom things. So there's still things for the owner to take care of. We did fully charge the pack. It's all charged up and ready to go. There's your J1772 charge port. So he needs to finish the cooling system. I mean, it's all connected except for electrically. A bunch of wires just tucked there. He can do that. Just set it up so that when you turn on the ignition, that everything comes on. It's the way we do it. So yeah, we left the looming and all the cosmetic kind of stuff for the owner to take care of, just because I'm sure they'd rather do that than pay us to do some of these simple little things. So let's step in the vehicle here and we'll turn on the key. Okay, turn on the ignition. You can hear the main contactor buzzing. Some do, some don't. Can never figure out why. So anyway, what we have here is our JLD 404 shows that we're pulling 0.5 amps out. That's the DC to DC converter and the inverter. Both are on. The 840 display, default setting is RPMs. I can push the little menu button down here and it toggles through its settings, amps, volts, motor temperature, controller temperature, and minimum volts, maximum amps. Okay, back to RPMs. This is reverse right here. Press the button. Now it's in reverse, back into forward. This is just to let you know the system's on, the green light. But if you press this button, that's coast mode. No regen. Push it again, regen. And of course this shows amps in and out of the pack, voltage, and amp hours. So that's it, folks. You've seen all these things before, nothing new. But it's time to contact the vehicle owner and schedule time for him to come and pick this up. At this location, I have another repair that we're doing, and that is this CJ7, and we're in the midst of doing a repair on that. It just came in day before yesterday, I think. So that's what's next. I'm thinking we film these things in, you know, whenever we have time, so there's no real sequence to anything. So anyway, hope you continue to watch. Hope you like our videos, and if you do, give us a thumbs up. If you don't, yeah, give us a thumbs up. You're here anyway. And then subscribe. 80% of the people that watch our videos are not subscribers. Let's change that, make it the other way around. Let's do, instead of 80-20, let's do 20-80. Or it is 20-80, let's make it 80-20. Well, however you want to look at it. Please subscribe. See you in the next one.